Welcome to our deep dive into The Little Prince. Get ready to kind of explore this this beloved classic and, uncover the hidden depths of this story that seems, so simple on the surface.
It's really amazing how a story written like decades ago can still feel so relevant today.
Yeah.
There's just a timelessness to the themes that we're going to unpack.
Absolutely. And we start with a pretty dramatic scene. Our narrator, a pilot, crash lands in the Sahara Desert.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a worst case scenario, right?
Yeah.
He's focused on survival, trying to fix his plane.
Right.
Then out of the blue, he encounters the Little Prince.
What's striking about this encounter is the immediate contrast in priorities.
Yeah.
You have this practical, grounded pilot worried about, the very real danger he's in, and then this whimsical boy more concerned with having a sheep drawn for him.
It's almost comical.
Right.
I mean, wouldn't you be freaking out if you were stranded in the desert?
Oh, absolutely.
But the Little Prince is laser focused on this sheep.
Yes.
And he's not just asking for any sheep.
Right.
He has very specific ideas about how it should look.
Yeah, this actually highlights a key theme we'll see throughout the book.
Oh.
The importance of seeing, beyond the surface.
Yeah.
The Little Prince isn't satisfied with a generic sheep drawing.
Right.
He wants something unique.
Yeah.
Something that reflects his individual vision.
I see.
It reminds me of how we often rush through tasks or accept the easiest solution instead of truly understanding the nuances of a situation.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's like when you try to explain a complex feeling and someone just throws a cliche at you.
Right.
You're left thinking, no, that's not quite it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Little Prince forces the pilot to slow down, pay attention to detail, and really understand what he's looking for. It's a lesson in mindfulness and attentiveness that many of us, myself included, could benefit from in our busy lives.
So the pilot finally manages to draw a sheep that satisfies the Little Prince.
Yeah.
And that's when we learn about the Little Prince's home. This tiny planet with 3 volcanoes and a very special rose.
And of course, we can't forget about the baobabs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
These fast-growing trees pose a constant threat to the Little Prince's planet.
Okay.
He diligently pulls them up, explaining that if they're left to grow, they can take over and destroy everything.
Okay, let's unpack this baobab metaphor.
Okay.
It's not just about weeding a garden, right?
Right. Think about it this way.
Okay.
We all have baobabs in our lives.
Interesting.
Those small tasks or worries that, if left unattended, can grow into major problems.
Oh.
Maybe it's that pile of paperwork you keep meaning to sort through, or that nagging health issue you've been ignoring.
Uh-huh.
The Little Prince's diligence in tackling the baobabs reminds us that addressing problems early on, no matter how small they seem, can prevent them from overwhelming us later.
Wow, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But it makes so much sense. And speaking of perspective,
Yes.
the Little Prince also describes watching 43 sunsets in a single day.
I know. Can you imagine?
It's such a beautiful and poignant image.
Yeah.
To be able to experience so much beauty in such a short amount of time.
Right.
It makes you wonder what it would be like to live on a planet where time moves differently.
Yeah.
Where you could witness multiple sunsets in a day.
I'd probably be so caught up in the beauty of it all that I'd forget to eat.
Yeah.
But seriously, it highlights the Little Prince's unique way of seeing the world.
Right.
He notices and appreciates things that most of us would probably overlook in our day-to-day rush.
It's a powerful reminder to slow down and appreciate the beauty that surrounds us, even in the mundane. It's about shifting our perspective, seeing the world with fresh eyes like the Little Prince does.
Exactly.
Now, there's one more thing on the Little Prince's planet that we need to talk about.
Okay.
His beloved Rose.
Yes.
She's beautiful.
She is.
But she's also a bit demanding, isn't she?
The Rose is fascinating because she embodies the complexities of love and relationships.
Yeah.
She's clearly precious to the Little Prince.
Right.
But she also brings him frustration and heartache.
It reminds me of, well, let's just say I can relate to those mixed emotions when it comes to certain people in my life.
I think we all can.
Yeah.
It's those relationships that both challenge us and make us feel incredibly alive.
Exactly.
And I think it's important to note that the book doesn't shy away from these complexities.
Right.
It acknowledges that even the most cherished relationships can be fraught with difficulties.
It makes the story feel so relatable.
Yeah.
So the little prince leaves his planet and his rose behind to explore the universe.
He does.
And on his travels, he encounters a whole cast of interesting characters.
Each encounter, whether it's with the king who rules over nothing or the conceited man who demands constant admiration, offers a different perspective on the world.
And it's through these encounters that the absurdity of adult priorities really starts to take shape, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. These characters are so focused on their own narrow worldviews that they've lost sight of what truly matters.
Right.
And the little prince, with his innocent perspective, sees through their facades.
Yeah.
He challenges their assumptions and exposes the emptiness of their pursuits.
It's like he's holding a mirror up to the adult world, showing us how easily we can get caught up in superficiality and lose sight of the things that truly bring meaning and joy.
And I think that's why this part of the story resonates so deeply with readers.
Yeah.
Especially those of us who remember feeling frustrated by the things adults seem to care about.
I remember feeling that way as a kid.
Me too.
Like, why are grown-ups so obsessed with work and rules?
It's that feeling of disconnect between the childlike sense of wonder and the often rigid, logic-driven world of adults.
And it's a feeling that the little prince, through his encounters, helps us to re-examine.
Yes.
Speaking of re-examining things,
Okay.
the little prince's meeting with the fox is a turning point in the story.
It is.
This is where the concept of taming comes into play.
The fox teaches the little prince about the importance of creating bonds,
Yeah.
of investing time and energy to build meaningful connections. Taming, as the fox explains, is about making something or someone special to you through shared experiences and mutual understanding.
And this idea of taming really resonated with me. It got me thinking about my own passions, like this podcast.
Oh, interesting.
I wouldn't say I'm obsessed, but I've definitely poured a lot of myself into it.
Would you say you've been tamed by it?
You know, I think I have in a way.
Yeah.
It started as just an idea,
Right.
but it's become something I truly care about, something that's shaped how I see the world.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what the fox is getting at, right?
Absolutely. It's about that process of forming deep connections, whether it's with a person, a place, an idea, or even, as you said, a project.
Right.
And through that process, we discover hidden depths and meaning that we wouldn't otherwise see.
It reminds me of that famous line from the book, "What is essential is invisible to the eye." It's about seeing with the heart,
Right.
understanding the true value of something beyond its superficial appearance.
And this idea of seeing with the heart ties back beautifully to the little prince's relationship with his rose.
Yeah.
Even though he encounters countless other roses on his journey, he realizes that his rose is unique and special because of the time and care they've shared.
It's a powerful reminder that true connection isn't about quantity,
Right.
but about the quality of the bond we create.
Exactly.
It's about those shared experiences, those moments of vulnerability and understanding that make a relationship truly meaningful.
And this brings us to another thought-provoking encounter from the story. The little prince's meeting with the businessman who spends his days counting stars.
Oh, wow.
He believes he owns them simply because he's written down their number on a piece of paper.
What a strange idea. I
Yeah.
mean, how can you own a star?
Yeah.
It's so absurd when you think about it.
But this encounter speaks to a deeper issue. Our human tendency towards possessiveness and control.
I see.
The businessman is so focused on acquiring and quantifying that he's lost sight of the true beauty and wonder of the stars.
It's like those people who travel the world just to check places off a list
Right.
instead of actually experiencing the culture and the people. They're so busy documenting everything that they miss out on the essence of the journey.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And I think this resonates with a lot of us today.
Right.
We live in a world that constantly encourages us to accumulate more,
Yeah.
to strive for bigger and better things. But the Little Prince reminds us to question those values,
Right.
to ask ourselves what truly brings us joy and fulfillment.
It's about shifting our focus from material possessions to those intangible things that make life rich and meaningful. Love, connection, creativity, and a sense of wonder.
And this leads us back to the theme of responsibility,
Oh,
which is so beautifully illustrated through the Little Prince's care for his tiny planet.
yeah.
He diligently pulls up the baobabs, understanding the importance of tending to even the smallest details to protect his home.
It's a powerful metaphor for our own relationship with the earth.
Right.
We all have a responsibility to care for our environment, to make choices that ensure its well-being for future generations.
And it's not just about grand gestures.
Right.
It's about those small, everyday actions that, when multiplied by millions, can make a real difference.
Yeah.
Just like the little prince meticulously weeding his planet, we can all contribute to protecting our shared home.
Speaking of impact,
Okay.
it's incredible how The Little Prince has touched so many lives around the world.
It really is.
It's been translated into over 300 languages and continues to be one of the most beloved books of all time.
That's a testament to the book's universal appeal.
Yeah.
It speaks to something deep within us, regardless of our language, culture, or background. And I think that's because it explores timeless themes that are relevant to all humans. Love, loss, friendship, the search for meaning, and the importance of imagination.
And let's talk about that imagination.
Okay.
One of the things I find so captivating about The Little Prince is its use of symbolism.
Yes.
Every element of the story seems to carry a deeper meaning.
Absolutely. From the vast desert to the life-giving well, from the delicate rose to the enigmatic sheep, these symbols invite us to engage with the story on multiple levels.
For instance, the desert could represent those challenging periods in our lives when we feel lost and alone.
While the well symbolizes hope and resilience, the inner strength we discover when we face adversity.
And the rose, with her beauty and complexity, embodies the intricacies of love and relationships.
It's like each symbol is a key that unlocks a different layer of meaning in the story.
I like that.
And each reader is free to find their own interpretation.
Right.
To discover their own treasures within the narrative.
It's like a treasure hunt for the soul.
Exactly. And this openness to interpretation is part of what makes The Little Prince so enduring. It's a story that continues to spark conversations and inspire new perspectives, even decades after it was written.
Speaking of perspectives,
Yes.
the ending of The Little Prince is one of the most discussed and debated aspects of the story.
It's true.
It's both poignant and ambiguous, leaving us with a sense of mystery and wonder.
The Little Prince's departure is shrouded in uncertainty.
Right.
We're left to ponder. Does he return to his planet? Does he reunite with his rose?
It's almost like the author is inviting us to write our own ending, to imagine what happens next based on our own interpretations of the story.
And I think there's beauty in that ambiguity.
Yeah.
It reflects the complexities of life itself.
Right.
Not everything has a neat resolution. Sometimes we're left with questions, with a longing for something more.
But even in the face of uncertainty, The Little Prince offers a message of hope. It reminds us that the bonds we forge, the lessons we learn, and the love we give and receive continue to shape us long after our paths diverge.
It's a reminder that even in farewells, there can be beauty and a sense of continuity.
Yeah.
The Little Prince might be gone, but his impact on the narrator and on us as readers remains.
His story teaches us to see the world with fresh eyes, to cherish our connections, and to never lose sight of the childlike wonder that lies within us all.
Beautifully said.
And as we move into the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I'm curious to explore some of the criticisms and controversies surrounding The Little Prince.
Interesting.
It's a beloved book,
It is.
but it's also sparked some interesting debates over the years. It's fascinating how a story that seems so simple on the surface can evoke such a wide range of responses.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you said, The Little Prince has been praised for its profound insights and criticized for being overly sentimental.
Right.
Some even question its suitability for children, given the complex themes and the ambiguous ending we were just discussing.
I can see where those criticisms are coming from.
Yeah.
It definitely touches on some heavy topics like loss, loneliness, and the search for meaning.
But I think that's also what makes it so powerful.
Right.
It doesn't shy away from the difficult aspects of life,
Yeah.
and it approaches them with a sense of hope and wonder that resonates with readers of all ages.
I think you've hit on something crucial there.
Yeah.
It's the combination of simplicity and depth that makes The Little Prince so compelling.
Right.
It invites readers to engage with these complex ideas on their own terms, drawing their own conclusions and finding their own meaning within the story.
It's like a seed that's planted in your mind and continues to grow long after you've finished reading.
I like that analogy.
And speaking of growth,
Okay.
I can't help but wonder what The Little Prince would make of our modern world.
Oh, that's interesting.
Imagine him encountering our technology-driven society,
Right.
our obsession with social media, and the constant bombardment of information we face every day.
It's an intriguing thought experiment.
Yeah.
I imagine he might be overwhelmed, even disillusioned by the fast-paced, materialistic nature of our lives.
Right.
He might question our reliance on technology
Yeah.
and our disconnect from the natural world.
He might even give us a gentle reminder about the importance of slowing down, appreciating the simple things, and nurturing genuine human connections in a world that often feels increasingly isolated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Remember his fascination with the pilot's simple drawings, his ability to find magic in the ordinary.
Right.
I think he'd encourage us to rediscover that sense of wonder, to look beyond the surface and appreciate the beauty that surrounds us, even in the most unexpected places.
And his message about the importance of taming, building meaningful relationships through time, care, and shared experiences
Right.
seems even more relevant today in our digitally connected yet often emotionally disconnected world.
I completely agree. The Little Prince's journey reminds us that true connection takes effort, presence, and a willingness to see beyond the superficial.
Right.
It's about nurturing those bonds that bring us joy, meaning, and a sense of belonging.
And let's not forget his dedication to caring for his tiny planet.
Right.
He diligently pulls up the baobabs,
Mhm.
understanding that even small actions can have a big impact.
Exactly.
It's a powerful message about our responsibility to protect and care for our environment,
Yes.
especially in a world facing so many ecological challenges.
His actions highlight the interconnectedness of all things.
Right.
What we do to our planet, we do to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's a message that resonates deeply in a time when environmental awareness and sustainability are more crucial than ever.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into The Little Prince,
Okay.
I think it's safe to say that this seemingly simple story continues to offer profound insights and valuable lessons for readers of all ages.
It's a story that reminds us to see with our hearts, to nurture our connections, to care for our planet, and to never lose that childlike sense of wonder that makes life so much richer and more meaningful.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And before we sign off, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes.
What resonated most with you during this deep dive? What are your own interpretations of The Little Prince?
Right.
Share your insights with us on social media and keep the conversation going.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of The Little Prince.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those hearts open to the beauty and wonder that surrounds us.